Hey folks, this is Mark with Orient Watch, and I'm really proud here to introduce you CDH00001W. Now this is part of Orient's executive series, and you can probably tell that it's quite classy at the same time, being quite sporty at the same time. But we really thought that it should fit in the executive series because it's so accessible, not only for work, for play, but for just other casual reasons too. Let me go ahead and explain to you why this is one of my favorite pieces, because just take a look at how it looks. The dial, two-tone, accent color, red, has a power reserve indicator, sapphire crystal with the anti-reflective coating, nice second hand with a red tip. It's got nice torque on it so that you can use a very long second hand on that movement. Has a dual time. Also has a slide rule indicator. There's a whole list of features on this watch, and I'm so happy to be able to offer it at around 500 something. So this is something that I'm very excited about. So let me start by introducing every single feature one by one when it's off the wrist. So first one being the deployment buckle. You know, normally when you wear a leather band, you have a fixed length, on the band. This one uses a deployment buckle, which means that it has a set length. Once I've decided that this is the length that I like it at, I'm going to go ahead and place it in there. I'm going to lock it with this little guy right there. So you notice that it's not going to come out. If that's the case, the only thing that can really pivot is this clasp coming in and out. So it has a fixed length, because all you're going to do is close it, open it, close it, open it. It's got two buttons on both sides over here, so it just releases like that. Now this watch, I don't know if you can see this, but hopefully you can, is a mechanical watch. So you're not going to see any sort of batteries back there. It uses this oscillating weight, which makes it an automatic. It uses this weight, and as you wear it, you'll see how it's going to turn like this, right? Take a look. That's attached to a rotor, which is attached to a spring. Now that spring is powering that guy over there, which is part of the timekeeping element. So you have a dressed oscillating weight, you have a dressed back plate over there, and this plate over here is dressed too. So it's quite a high featured watch. And so let's take a look also the side of the case from this back side, so get a real good idea of what's going on. And take a look at the front over here too. You know, as much as I love pictures, it's just not as good as I think videos in this case, because you really have to see it three-dimensionally. Okay, so let's take a look at the dial. And Chris, if you could, take a nice close shot like this so that viewers at home can really see what's going on. Here we are. So we have a power reserve indicator right here. We have a date wheel, kind of a wheel but indicator down over here. And also we have a dual time zone, or a second hand zone, GMT, whatever you want to call it. It carries information, or the hour of another time zone. So typically in terms of this, it'll try to match up as best as it can with the minute hand, meaning if it's a quarter in like it is right now, it'll try to be a quarter in over here too, which you can see is approximately at 13.25 over here too. So let me show you that also. Remember how I showed you that it was a mechanical watch? Now the spring's way in there. I mean, let me take another example of another watch. I mean, the spring is way inside. It's not only covered by this oscillating weight, but it's also covered by a barrel and whatnot. You're never going to be able to see it. So how do you know how much power there is inside that spring? Well, just think of this as a gas gauge. Lets you know how much more you got in your tank. It goes from 0 to 40, and these are in units of hours. So in our example, we have around approximately 10, which means for 10 hours I can leave it still and it's going to run perfectly. Now remember, you're the power source in this. You're the one that's moving around, that's creating the oscillating weight to oscillate. So if you wear it, you're going to see that it's going to go closer towards 40. When you take it off, it was going to go closer towards 0. So the power reserve really means if there's no motion at that point, from that point it should run for 10 hours. So if you're wearing it not really moving that much, it could be around 9 or 8, depending on how little you're moving at that point, right? But typically when you're wearing it, it's gonna gain a lot of power. So let me show you how to kind of use these things, really. All right. So we have two crowns. We have one crown over here, and we have a slide rule knob over on the bottom over here. If you can just back up the zoom just a little bit so I can use this. I'm going to go ahead and pull it off. You'll notice if I pull out to the time setting that the second hand is indeed hackable. So if you're very, very strict about having the right time and synchronizing it, this is a hackable watch. You'll notice that the crown will have two settings. Okay. Now I'm in the first setting, which means that I should be able to. I should be able to adjust the date. So you'll see that right there. Now it's moving here. Now if I turn it the other way in this setting, I can adjust the GMT function. So say for example you're in Cairo one day and you had to go to Stockholm and you had to come back to New York. You would have to adjust. To adjust this if you're going to change time zone with the time. So it's very simple. So it wouldn't take you more than I think 20 seconds to do it anyway. So there you go. That's how you adjust the dates as well as the dual time. Pull it out one more step, and you can adjust time just like any other watch. This part is going to be really easy, and you'll notice as time moves forwards that outer wheel or the dual time zone changes with the time. Okay, so now let's talk about the slide rule. You'll notice that if I just turn it one way or the other, the outer bezel rotates. The inner bezel is fixed at a certain point. Now this watch comes with a nice manual which explains to you how to use this slide rule calculator. There's 4 functions. It does addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So I wouldn't want to go through some arithmetic with you, but believe me, when you get the manual, you'll figure it out. Alright folks, so this is Mark with OrientWatchUSA.com with CDH00001W. See you again soon.